Now, before I start this video, this is not one to sandbag gimbals, smartphone gimbals, that kind of thing. I'm not trashing them at all. They've all got their place, and for vlogging, B-roll, that kind of stuff, they're excellent. But there is something I want to warn you guys about smartphone gimbals, especially if you're buying one for the first time or you're looking to buy a replacement one. Let me explain it. This is the OSMO Mobile 3 gimbal, which you saw in the little mini intro, and this weighs about 410 grams. Not a problem, not an issue. Nice and light and portable as well. It folds up. Fantastic. But what about when you want to start adding filters, lenses, that kind of thing? That's where it becomes a bit of a problem, and that's what I want to talk to you about. Now, using just a phone on its own is fantastic. It works really well. It's so smooth. You get great shots just like in the adverts and just like in the YouTuber videos that you see. Everyone's saying how fantastic they are and how easy they are to use. And that's because most of the time they're not using any kind of filters, any lenses, adding any weight to it whatsoever. But as you get more advanced, you're starting to use filters, lenses, clip-ons for those filters and lenses, or a smartphone case, like a Moment case, something like that, which adds weight as well. And you're really starting to teeter that weight that it can take, the smartphone gimbal, which is up to 230 grams, way past it. And you're going to start challenging those gears and motors on the gimbal. Now, at first, it's not going to be much of a problem, but over time, I found from experience that it will start to waver and will start to struggle on those gears and give you a lot of pains in the backside. So think of it like this. If you're filming outside, particularly if you want to film at 24 frames per second, you're going to want ND filters so you can control your shutter speed. You might want 2 and stack them if it's a particularly sunny day, that kind of situation, to get the nice shutter speed down to where you want it. And then you're going to want to have a clip or a phone case to add those onto, so that adds weight. For me, I have a really simple, pretty light little clip on there for smartphone lenses, filters, that kind of thing, so you can start attaching them. But this is a 37mm, so if I want to use a 52mm for my lenses, filters, that kind of thing, I need to attach a step-up ring. So that starts adding weight. As you get more advanced, you're going to want bigger lenses, anamorphic lenses, wide lenses, that kind of thing, telephoto lenses perhaps. This one from Movo itself on its own weighs 80 grams. That already takes you over the 230 gram threshold of what your gimbal can hold, because obviously it's already holding your mobile phone. So to balance that out, you're going to need counterweights, and this is what people don't talk to you about on YouTube, because they want to sell you things through affiliate links, which I get. I love it when people buy things through my affiliate links. Wink wink, nudge nudge. But it's really important to be real and talk about these things, such as weight issues with gimbals, because if I sit here telling you buy this gimbal, I've got the affiliate link, I'm telling you how great it is when I first get it, when actually 6 months down the line you start having troubles because you're using filters, lenses, all sorts. It's a little bit fake and a little bit, wrong. So we've established for the OSMO Mobile 3, for example, whilst the OM4 does hold, I think it's about 30 grams more, that's still going to be an issue when you're using lots of things on top of that gimbal. But let me show you visually how this affects your shots over a long period of time if you're using all this kind of weight on top of the gimbal and going in excess of what it can hold. When you're using just the phone on its own, you get really slick shots, you get really smooth shots, just like the ones that you see in the adverts for the DJI Osmo Mobile gimbals, for the Zone Smoother gimbals, that kind of thing as well. But very rarely in these adverts do you see them using lenses. Very rarely in these adverts do you see them using counterweights. So now let me give you some practical examples of how putting too much weight on your gimbal is going to affect your footage. So as you can see from these examples, when I'm not using any weights, just the phone on its own, it's exactly what the gimbal's built for. It's vlogging, it's B-roll, it's when you're going for your travel vlogs, that kind of thing, and it works perfectly. But when you add a big weight, like a big wide-angle lens like this, with the counterweights as well on top of that, it just adds way too much weight. It can't handle it. It kept collapsing on me. It just wasn't usable footage at all. And on the last take here, you can see even with just the ND filters and the counterweights here, it still struggled with those low-angle shots because it's really struggling all the gears together. And you can physically feel in the gimbal as well, the gears struggling to keep it level at those kind of awkward angles. So you can see from these activities and from these practices that you really want to keep it with just a phone or very, 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 very minimal accessories on top of that, because you will wear the gears on this, and I found out the hard way that you will end up needing to get a new one if you want to add more accessories. But it's something I want to warn you guys about when you're getting your new gimbals or thinking about getting a new gimbal. These gimbals really are made for vlogging and travel videos, that kind of thing, where you're just getting shots and adding music to it. You don't need sound necessarily. You're just using the phone. They work brilliantly. But for filmmaking, when you're actually making films and you want to have different lenses, you want to have a bit of a rig on there, your mic set up, that kind of thing, these really, really, really do struggle in the long term with that kind of stuff. So if you're looking at getting a new gimbal for filmmaking, real narrative filmmaking, I would kind of veer on the side of caution when getting a regular smartphone gimbal and push yourself towards getting a hybrid gimbal. That's what I'm looking into now. Perhaps something like the Weeble S gimbal or the Ronin SC, something like that, the Crane M2. these are the kind of gimbals that I'm looking at now to get for my filmmaking, so that I can be really within that payload of the gimbal with quite a lot of ease and get the kind of shots and not have to worry about a lot of jerking movements because the gears are being challenged too much with all the weight I'm adding on top of it. And obviously people use post-stabilization and stuff, which people don't talk about enough. People say, oh, look at these great shots I'm getting with a gimbal. They don't mention they're using post-stabilization, which we all do. So that's a bit of another cheat that people don't talk about on YouTube as well. So it's worth considering as well that when you're watching YouTube videos, they do use post-stabilization. A lot of the footage that they're getting from the gimbal isn't necessarily the exact footage they're showing you. They're correcting a lot in post as well. I just wanted to, again, put it out there that when you're getting a smartphone gimbal for the first time or looking to buy a new one, really research the payload of the gimbal and look at the different accessories like lenses, like ND filters, all those kind of things, and the weight of them as well. Research the weight of them and how much that's going to come to see if that works out for your gimbal. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope this has been a nice little friendly warning to anyone who wants to get a smartphone gimbal so that you can make sure you're spending your money wisely. Because if you buy a smartphone gimbal that's not going to work out in the short term, you're just going to end up buying another one, spending more money anyway. So let me know in the comment section down below how long you have been using a smartphone gimbal, how's it working out with lenses, counterweights, if you're using them at all, and how long it's been working out for you. Are you struggling with it like I am? And if you're using a hybrid gimbal, I beg you, let me know your experiences of whatever gimbal that you are using, because I want to be able to get one now soon so I can get nice smooth shots in my filmmaking as well. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. See you on the next one. Bye bye.